What's going on, everybody? My name's GiraffeAnatomy, and this is another Smite Quick God Guide. Today, the goddess that we will be looking at is Cliodhna, and I will be referring to her as Clio throughout this video. What we're going to do is we're going to go over her abilities, her passive, talk about how they synergize together, talk about how to use them effectively. And the goal is, by the end of this video, you're able to take Clio into any game mode, arena, joust, / conquest, and be able to use her effectively because now you know what she does, how she works, and how you can use her effectively. So what we're going to do is we are going to go into jungle practice. We will choose Clio. We'll get down to it. So Clio is an assassin in Smite. That means she is short ranged when it comes to her basic attacks, and she does physical damage. Now Clio is mainly played in the jungle role. That is kind of what she was designed and built for, but she can be flexed into solo lane. She actually works really well as a solo laner if you kind of build her as a hybrid. She has a lot of sustain because of her kit and because of how you can build her and use that with her passive. She also farms really well because of her passive. So what we'll do, I will level everything up first. And we're going to talk about her passive first, and then we will get into all of her abilities and what they do, right? So really quick, let's talk about her passive called Phantasmal. This passive makes Clio super interesting in Smite. It's very unique. So Clio can walk into walls once every 16 seconds. While inside a wall, she can move freely and use some of her abilities. Every 0.4 seconds, she loses 0.15% of her health, stacking in intensity up to 40 times. She cannot enter a wall while below 25% health or crippled. For 5 seconds after exiting, she gains 10% ability lifesteal. So this is a very unique passive. She's the only one that can do something like this in Smite, and it makes her a really fun, interesting, and unique god to play. Basically, what you do is if you walk up to a wall, you will see this kind of portal open up as you're holding in W or pressing forward on your controller, right? And if you hold it long enough, she will go into the wall, and now you have this type of vision, which is anyone around you, you'll see if you're close enough to them. And then as you can see, my health is going down and stacking in intensity, right? And what happens is, once you get to a certain point, it will kick you out. So you don't die from staying in the wall. It will kick you out at the lowest possible point here. And then, as you can see here, the countdown's happening again. During this countdown, I can't enter the wall again. So it's only once every 16 seconds can you enter the wall, right? And as you enter it, it will, every 0.4 seconds, she loses that 0.15% of her health, and it stacks up to intensity, right? You can't enter the wall when you're under 25% health as well. So if you could see here, right, I'm under 25% health. I can't re-enter a wall. You're going to get this X if you can't enter a wall or something like that, right? So basically, that's what that looks like. One other thing that you can do in regards to passive is you can use some abilities while you're in the wall. So I will show you real quick what you can do. So when you're in here, if you hold down your 1, this is what your 1 looks like. You'll still be able to like do your scream, and then you can use your ultimates, right? You can use through it, and then also this one, which is the dash, right? Her 3. You can't use her second ability while you're in the wall. It's only these 3 ones that you can do, and we will talk about them here in a second. One more thing to note really quickly is that for 5 seconds after exiting, she gains 10% physical ability lifesteal, right? So Clio likes to build a little bit of lifesteal. 2 items that are really good on her is once you get Jotuns, right, for some cooldown. Oh, I'm not in the fountain. But once you get Jotuns, you can upgrade this to Jotun's Vigor, right? If you drop below 40% health, you gain 10% movement speed and 30% physical ability lifesteal for 5 seconds. So that will really help you and tie into your passive. And then something like Soul Eater works really well with her as well. Just because you can, once it's stacked, right, you will get 25% you will heal for 25% of what your abilities do, right? Your abilities heal you for 25% of the damage dealt to targets, right? So with items like this, and with the Jotuns upgrade to Vigor, you have some lifesteal in your kit. It's going to go well with your passive. So once you're inside a wall or something like that, right? And then you come out of the wall, if you use your 3 to come out, it's like a pretty good ability to like walk out. Do that, get some lifesteal back and stuff, right? When you hit an enemy with it. Because you're coming out of that wall, you're going to get with the Soul Eater, and if you're under 40% health, you'll get the Jotun's Vigor passive too, right? So, without these, let's get into her actual abilities and talk about what her first ability does. So her first ability is called Banshee's Wail. Clio wails at enemies before her, causing damage 3 times, with the final hit being the strongest. The final hit will also cause enemies to be silenced and deafened for 1.5 seconds. While channeling this scream, Clio is immune to knockups. While inside of a wall, Clio will cause a spectral face to appear and wail in her stead that damages only enemy gods in a wider cone, right? So the biggest thing about this is you have scream damage, and it will tick, and then there will be a final hit that does the most damage, right? And then the final hit basically causes your enemies to be silenced and deafened for 1.5 seconds. So the silence is a huge thing, because if a god is silenced, they can't use abilities, right? But you need to get the final hit on them. As you can see, this is the cone, right? It's a cone type ability, and when you use it, you'll see tick, 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 right? That last one needs to hit them for them to get the silence as well. And this really helps you out, because if gods are silenced, they can't like get away or do those things. So what you can do is you can use this to help basically tick, tick, tick. He's silenced. You see that little aura while like for a second he's silenced. He's deafened a little bit, so he can't like hear proper sounds and stuff in the game. And it's a really good initiation tool for Clio to use, right? So make sure you're getting all the ticks on the enemy that you're trying to attack here. And then 1, 2, 3. Once you get the third one, you know that for like a second there, they're silenced, right? I think it's like a 1.5 second silence. They can't leap away. They can't do anything. So you can fire off maybe another ability or two, or get like an auto or two in there as well. So let's talk about her second ability. We'll go through these real quick, and then we'll talk about kind of how to utilize her kit and play her, right? So her second ability is called Flickering Visions. Clio fires a distorting bolt of energy that explodes on contact with a living soul. Enemy gods hit by this explosion lose the ability to perceive Clio for 4 seconds. If Clio attacks or is hit, she flickers back into vision before fading out. As long as one enemy god is debuffed, Clio gains a movement speed buff, right? So first of all, you do bolt damage, and if you hit an enemy god with it, you will get movement speed, and for them, you will be invisible, like anybody within this circle, right? You can actually hit 2 gods if they're both within the circle, but as long as you hit one, right? If I hit one, I am faster now. I literally have a 25% movement speed buff, and I'm invisible to that god. He literally can't see me for 4 seconds, unless he hits me with an attack or something like that, right? So if Clio attacks or is hit, she flickers back into vision. So if I hit him with this, and then I attacked him, he'd see me for a second, right? Or if he's hitting me with something, he would see me, right? It kind of works like Loki's invis. You'll see flashes of them as they're attacking you. This is a really good escape tool for people. Basically, with this in your dash, if you want to get away from somebody, if you hit them, you are 25% faster, so you can now run away, and you're invisible to them. So it's a really good idea to try and throw this 2 out whenever you get the chance, if you're trying to run away and escape from somebody, because you're going to get that 25% movement speed. You can also use it for chase down too. So normally when autoing, you go slower. See how Odin's like gaining some ground while I do that? But if I hit him with this, I'm 25% faster. I can normally get a couple more basics off just because I'm 25% faster, right? I'm able to hit him with it. It doesn't slow him, but it does make me faster, right? So that's her second ability. Really useful in like team fights, for ganking potential, like that kind of stuff, right? And then let's talk about her third ability called Lurching Claw. Clio dashes forward, damaging enemies she passes through. At max range, if she cancels this dash, or upon refiring the ability, she will unleash a claw swipe that deals heavy damage. Clio can cast this while inside of a wall, resulting in the dash traveling further. So first of all, I know I read that weird, but it's basically at max range. If she cancels the dash or upon refiring of the ability, she will unleash the claw swipe. So this is what it looks like, right? You can cancel this anytime and do this swipe. So really quick, what it looks like by itself, you dash. At the very end, at the max range, once you've reached the end of your dash, you will do a swipe, right? You can fire this sooner. See how much faster that was? It wasn't the full dash. You can purposefully make it shorter. So you don't have to go the full dash length, right? And if you're on somebody like this, right, you will dash through them if you don't manually click the like to refire it, right? So you need to always manually refire it if you're going to refire it. And the best way to do that is just a left click, right? With this ability. If you just do this, you can mash the ability again. You can't like right click it, right? So a lot of the times, like canceling a dash or canceling something, you would right click. You either have to press the ability again, so you'd press 3, and then that's when you do the slash, or you press 3 and then left click to do it. Those are the only ways. Either refire the ability or press left click to get the dash to go shorter. So this is 3, just really fast, also shorter, right? You can do 3 and then you can do left click. You'll be able to attack them, right? The other thing I wanted to show you was if you are inside a wall, right? She basically goes a lot further. Not a lot, but she goes a little bit further with her dash and everything like that. And then you can do the same exact thing. You can cancel it a little bit early if you want. Obviously, I can't go in the wall because it's not 16 seconds yet. I have to wait. That's her passive coming into play here. But you can do something like this. You can press your 1, right? Get a little bit on that. And then left click. That way, I'm not ending up out here. I'm ending up here, right? Where I want to. So just remember, refire the ability for the slash with her 3, right? When it comes to like escaping and doing stuff, you can do a lot of stuff with her kit, right? I would say always try and like start with your 2, even if you're trying to get away. If you can like, you're in trouble and you can 2 somebody and then 3, you're able to make yourself invisible. If you don't left click or refire your dash, you can dash as far away as possible, and you're getting the movement speed if you hit an enemy god, right? So if you need to get away, throw your 2 out, get that movement speed ability, press your dash, and run away. This is going to be the fastest way for you to escape somebody, anything like that. Or if you want to attack somebody, you can basically hit them with this, do the dash, do the slash, do this, and then do your 1, and then be autoing them, right? You're going to do a lot of damage with this type of combo. And another thing Clio likes to build, just giving you guys some tips here on the builds. Hydra's very good with her abilities because of its passive. For 8 seconds after using an ability, your next basic attack will deal an additional 35% damage. You know, so basically you're able to use things like this where you're like, oh, make myself invisible, do that, get the Hydra's proc, right? Use my 1, get the Hydra's proc again, right after it. So you're able to do a lot of damage by autoing in between using your abilities, right? So you're going to make yourself invisible to them, auto, maybe do this, auto, hit your 1, auto, like it's a lot of burst damage. And you're able to heal through it a little bit through either Jotun's Vigor if you're below 40% health, or the Soul Eater, right? Soul Eater is going to be really good on her. Builds like this are very good. I think these are some core items on her. The other slots that you get and the order that you build this in is going to depend on if you're playing her in solo or if you're playing her in jungle, right? In jungle, you're normally going to start a build something like this. Like a Jotun's right off the bat. Probably either a Hydra's or a Soul Eater 2 or 3, right? Depending on what you're doing. And then from there, you can figure out what else you want. You can do some pen, like Heartseeker is good on her. Brawlers for anti-heal. If you want to get Serrated Edge just for the 20% physical pen, you can do something like that. Her abilities are up often enough that, yes, it's good to have something like that. Like when they're all down, you're going to get the stacks. Like right now, I'd be getting stacks on my auto. So it's not too bad as well to get something like a Serrated on her. I find this to be like more of the ability-based jungler thing. And then with this, you basically have 20% pen with this, 10% pen with that. You have 10%, so you have your full 40% pen. You already have cooldown with this. You have cooldown with this and cooldown with that. So just with these items, you have full cooldown, full penetration for an assassin. Very, very good. You can do things. You can still get a Heartseeker. You'd be overcapping on pen if you did something like that, but it's still just like such a good item for her. Things like Crusher is fine. You can get stuff like Dominance, Brawlers. You can even get like, if you wanted to replace like something with the Transcendence, you can do that too. But less about builds. Let's get into her ultimate really quick, and then maybe we could talk a little bit more about the builds and stuff that are good on her. So Clio's ultimate is called Tearing the Veil. Clio tears the veil between life and death, unleashing banshees in a line in front of her. When it first opens, it deals heavy damage and then deals rift damage to targets in the area and slows them. Enemies hit by subsequent hits take 40% less damage, stacking twice up to 80%. This ability has 2 charges. Clio can use this ability while inside of a wall. When used this way, the veil is not fully torn, instead activating when a target gets too close. Clio can have up to 3 rifts active, right? So first and foremost, let's talk about if you're using this outside of a wall, right? If you're using it outside of a wall, this is what it looks like, first of all. And when you do it, you basically tear the veil, and it will do the damage to them, right? And anybody standing in this line for this time is taking that damage over time on it, right? And you can see here, this is her meter for her ultimate. Now it can be fired twice, right? So there's this half here. This is the first half. This is the second half, and you'll see in 15 seconds it'll go full again. If I use it before then, it'll basically do that, right? So it's always ticking back up. You can do 2 at a time if you have a full meter here, though, right? So if you have a full meter here, you can do 2 at a time. Right now, I'm at full again, so I could use full at least on one half, so I could use it one more time if I wanted to. The other thing that I wanted to talk about this is when using this in the wall, right? You can actually put it so it's like this, and it won't activate until somebody passes by them. See how it didn't activate until somebody walked through the area that it would be used in, right? So that's a big thing about this. You can kind of like set a trap. Excuse me. You can set a trap for somebody here, right? Fortunately, the reset cooldowns don't reset this, but you can set like it says in the passive, right? Or sorry, in here, right? When used like inside the wall, the veil is not fully torn, so instead activating when a target gets too close, Clio can have up to 3 rifts active at one time. So she could set like 2 rifts in the wall. So I'll show you real quick. What I want to do, I guess I'll do it here. Okay, I'm actually going to bait this guy in. I'm going to set a rift here. I'm going to set a rift here, right? That's 2 rifts that are set. They're traps, and I can see these, right? The enemy won't, they'll basically have to like run past it. So what I can do is I can set both of these here, and I can wait until I get another one for my third one, right? And I can lure somebody into like the jungle or something like that, or near both of these traps. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get Guan out here. I'm going to have him walk over to these, right? And then now, right, I have enough for one, extra one. So what I'll do is I'm going to attack him. I'm going to have him come over here. When he reaches this, these will activate, and now I can do a third. So see how you can kind of trap them into like a bunch of like wailing crap, right? And so if you pre-plan and you set it up, and you set up like a place in the jungle maybe that you want to lure an enemy into, you can have 2 of them crisscrossing, and then you can shoot out a third at them as well. So you can cover like a big wide area with her ult at a time, right? I think that's the biggest takeaway to think of when it comes to this. It slows them, right? The slow stack and stuff like that. So if you are able to like use it to chase somebody down, you can do that. Like this is the slow in your hit, basically. Another thing people use Clio's ult for, kind of dumb, but I mean it works, right? Because you have 2 charges on it, if you're in solo lane or something, you can just clear the wave, and then that's it. You clear the wave with your ult, move on, right? Go do your thing. This is why Clio becomes a good solo laner. So let's talk about, we talked about her a little bit as jungle and how to build her. Jungle. Why is Clio good in solo? The reason you would pick Clio as a solo laner is not to like sit there and brawl with the enemy the whole game, right? You are literally going to just clear the lane faster than the enemy, and then you're going to go do other camps. And you're just going to farm better than them, you're going to rotate better than them, and you're going to like literally use your ult to clear the wave as soon as it comes in. Now they still have to deal with your whole wave. As soon as you do that, you go and steal their blue buff, you go and steal their jungle camps, you go and come back to the wave, clear it with your ult again, go out. You're literally like not in solo lane as Clio. You clear the wave, you go do other stuff and get as much farm and steal as much crap from them as you can. This way you will get ahead. You will like be up a couple levels, and then you can start rotating and you can gank very easily. And if you build like half tanky, half damage, right? So pepper in some defense with some cooldown, with like a Soul Eater or something like that. You can just do like Soul Eater Hydras. You can maybe skip out on the Jotuns and do something like a Glad Shield or something like that first, and then do like Soul Eater, something else, then Hydras, right? You still want to get defense as a solo laner, right? So our options are a little bit different. But if you still build a little bit of lifesteal and you throw in something like a Hydras, you'll have some pen, you'll have some cooldown still with stuff like this, and you'll still be tanky, right? So that's what you're doing. You're basically clearing the wave. You're going off and doing something else when you can, right? That's what makes her an effective solo laner, and the fact that you can build some lifesteal on her, and it will be hard to kill her, right? If you build some lifesteal on her. So that's the basics of Clio. When it comes to build, like I said, these items are kind of core on her when it comes to a jungle. I would recommend like a Bumba's Dagger or a Bumba's Spear with her. She's more ability based, so you want to get something like this when it comes to this. Be careful on the cooldowns. Like really with like some of these core items, there's a lot of overlapping abilities. So there's cooldown overlapping with stuff like this. There's like if you get 10% cooldown with this, and then you're getting this, and that, you're actually overcapping by 10% with these items plus this, right? With this one, it's going to be the same thing. It's 10% pen, 10% cooldown. You already have like full pen with like items like this. But I would say like these types of items that you see here are pretty much the core ones on her that you can build. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope this explained kind of how to use Clio, basically how to play her a little bit more. If you guys want, we run a Smite Learning Discord server. Feel free to join that. The link is in the description below. It's called the Smite Dojo. We all hang out there. We have people that are brand new at Smite Learning to people that are Diamond and Masters level in Smite. They know what they're doing. They can help guide you. There's mentors. There's experienced people that you can play with. They can show you like game modes, different gods, like that kind of thing too. So feel free to join that. And then also feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I am coming out with a video for every single god in Smite. Clio is just one of the many. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys watching these videos. If there's some other build or some other advice that you'd want to give about Clio specifically, feel free to comment down below. If there's something specific you want me to cover in a video, if you want to learn about like laning phases or like certain gods or how to build them or certain items or something like that, I'm always happy to make a item video or like a lane guide video or something like that. So just let me know if you want me to do something like that. I'd be happy to. Thank you guys very much, and hey, have a great day.